And we are ready.
Okay. I'd like to welcome everyone to our audit committee meeting here on December 18th, 2025 at 6 p.m. For an invocation, I forgot to ask somebody, is there somebody who'd like to lead us in an invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance tonight?
You can do the
Okay.
Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah.
Oh, you want both?
Sure.
Our Father in heaven, we express gratitude for the ability to be here tonight and discuss the matters of the city and citizens thereof. We ask guidance and wisdom as we make decisions and serve them. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you. Now we have discussion and action to approve the September 18th, 2025 audit committee meeting minutes that have been distributed.
I'll move that we approve them. Somebody can.
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Were you an aye, Mayor?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone opposed? Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 2, public comments. Do we show if we have any members of the public joining us? Doesn't look like it.
No, we do not at this moment.
And no members of the public here. Okay, so we'll move on to item number 3. Discussion to review, and is this an action or is it just discussion?
Right here.
Peter,
I think we just discussed it. There's nothing to really
okay.
there's nothing to really approve.
All right, so discussion on their fiscal year 2025-2026 revenues, expenses, and quarterly financials. And Peter's gonna lead us.
Okay. Thank you very much. The packet that was distributed to you, there might be a little bit of a difference. We had a couple of changes in the week, so I would refer you to the screen for the latest if it's a little bit off. As we move forward, just letting you know. So, what I want to do again, we're going through our quarterly financials. This is our 3-month from July to September, and what you want to look at here is just what percentage of our budget's been completed in terms of our fiscal year 2026. And as we go across, I'll just sort of walk through my analysis of it, and discussion can ensue if you'd like to have questions. So the first thing just to point out in our general fund is where 16% of our revenues have been accrued, and we're about 20% of our expenditures. Expenditures as we'll go into the next slide, you'll see that expenditures should be pretty even throughout the year. Revenues kind of come and go. For example, our taxes, we're only 16%, but we will go up quite a bit in the quarter 2 when we have our property taxes come in, and we actually just had them come in. And just as an aside, we got about $100,000 more than we anticipated in actuals compared to last year. And then, but with budget, we had it essentially just kind of washes out. But we'll talk about more in depth when we do quarter 2. But just to kind of give you a sneak peek, that's what we'll be talking about more when we hit quarter 2. So
Just you don't want the opposite.
Yeah, just recognize this won't include our property taxes. The second one over there is Cherry Days, which fund is really, it's nice to look at because it's completed. Oops, go back to sorry, we're not done with that first slide.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
thought
okay.
you said next slide. I apologize.
I will, I'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you. So Cherry Days, the next grouping over is Cherry Days. And Cherry Days, as you'll look up there, is for the most part complete. We may have a few tiny adjustments, but it's December. I doubt we're going to have anything more come in terms of Cherry Days, which really completes itself entirely in the month of July. The next one over is our Aquatic Center. And as you'll see there, we're in 40% of our aquatics revenue. I went and looked back several years, and between 40 and 50% is kind of where you'll see our aquatics revenue and expenditures sit, because half of our year happens in the summer of quarter one, and the other half of our program happens in the fourth quarter of the same year. So that's going to sort of sit like that until we get to quarter four, and then we'll have a better idea of how we land once we finish our year in June of 2026. Moving over to water's exactly where it should be. There isn't a whole lot discussed there in terms of percentages. And just recognize I'm going to sort of talk about when you see differences. I'm going to sort of talk mostly about that. If you've had any questions, you can just pop in. So stormwater, we have quite a bit of an uptick on our revenues, and I'll talk about that in the next slide. And so now we can go to the next slide. This particular chart is really useful because it shows sort of a 3-year comparison, which is really helpful to know, hey, are we on track with our spending? Are we on track with the revenues that we should be expecting? And so as you can see there in the general fund, it's pretty close. The only thing I could see that as to why we're slightly down is our interest is a little bit down compared to budget, which makes sense. We've seen some rates drop. Next one over, Cherry Days. One of the things to note there is we did a better job, I believe, this year in making sure that we are accruing all of our revenue in the month that we have the event. Last couple of years, we would record the revenue in the first month, and then as things would trickle in, we just kind of accrue it in that whatever it came in at, or do some adjustments at the end. So we're trying to be a little more accurate in when we accrue that revenue. Moving over to the water fund. The water fund differences, I looked at those, and so we're up on our revenues there. We do have some rate increases that are matching better than budget, but also if you look at that 2023 gray line, it was pretty low compared to budget. So that's why you see quite a bit of a difference there. Our budget to actuals is more accurate now than it was 3 years ago. Moving over to our stormwater line there, we had some vehicle sales in the first quarter, so that's why you're seeing the revenues a little higher there. Motor pool, there's sort of a U shape there. We had some asset sales in 23 and 25 that we didn't in the quarter of the first 3 months. So that we didn't do in the first quarter of 24. So that's why
picture until you get to the whole year.
Correct. Yeah. So that's why you're seeing that dip there. And so that's sort of the differences you see over the 3 years in terms of our revenues. Go to the next slide. We have probably the first difference there to note is in our aquatics program, we have some budgeted monies for equipment maintenance and computers that we haven't really spent yet. So that's a little bit down compared to what we've had in years past. Getting into the enterprise funds, one thing I want to just be aware of is we haven't recorded depreciation yet for those funds. Like on a monthly basis, that's kind of ideal. And so we're gonna work on that to make sure that we get those recorded each month as they come in, instead of waiting till the end of the year, or just, we have some
That
reconciliation.
way you can see it as it goes in.
Correct.
right?
And then the other thing that I'm working on, I know we talked in the past about trying to extract the capital projects from this, so it gives a cleaner picture. So I'm working on that. And next quarter, when we do this, I'll have that sort of like isolated more, so that you have a better picture of kind of operating costs in those funds. I think that's just, it just cleans things up, because in the next, so the other thing that in that water fund too is that there is the capital project schedule, sort of why you see that sort of change there is because there was a different capital project schedule 2 years ago than there have been the last couple of years. Moving over to the sewer fund there, just moving over. We have some professional services that in fund year 24 that have not yet been used. So that's sort of that's where you see the difference there. Next one over solid waste, or sorry, stormwater. And that's again related to capital projects. We have some capital projects that haven't kicked off yet that we had in the last couple of years. Solid waste is gone up a little bit, largely related to some waste hauling fees. And then we bought some more garbage cans. So that has sort of ticked up a little bit compared to where we've been in the past.
I don't know if anybody's told you yet, but our solid waste contract with Republic expires this year. They come back with a 10% increase in the next year, and a 4% increase for the next year, because we can extend it out by
Right.
2 years. So you'll see the cost of garbage collection to the residents go up too. But we feel pretty lucky that that's all we got, it's at 10% and a 4%, but council will have to approve that. But,
Okay.
so we'll see the cost there.
That was kind of one of the things we're looking at before the contract to renew with the transfer station, correct? We're trying to see how that played out.
Well, the council have to make a decision on what to do. I don't know if Randy is aware of this too, but there's a new transfer station in town that's competing against the county. And so the council has to decide kind of, but to me, it's all about what Ogden City does. If they don't go over,
It's not gonna matter.
it won't matter what everybody else does. But there is a new competitor in town.
That usually helps cost if you get a little competition going.
Until they put one out of business, right? And then
Well, the new competitor's the same as the one that hauls our garbage, so.
Then you have to worry about service too.
So they're gonna get us one way or the other. It looks like they've already got us a little bit on the hauling, so. Okay, the next two over, the motor pool and the police, those difference and variances just relate to vehicle purchases. So we purchased a lot of vehicles in the motor pool Q1, and then the police fund, we haven't purchased any so far. So compared to the last couple of years. All right, so go to the next slide.
Got it.
So this one's a little bit different than yours on your sheet, because I included a total in there, and I'll tell you the reason why in a second. I'll just kind of run through the graph there. So that first one is, again, that's mostly our property taxes, our sales taxes. They're a little bit lower percentage compared to past year, and so we'll talk about that in a second. We get the sales tax slide. Our fees were a little bit higher as far as what we accumulated in like permit fees than what we anticipated and budgeted. So that's good. But we'll see how that kind of plays out through the rest of the year. That miscellaneous line is really high, but that we're talking about a small amount of money. And so if you look at general tax, for example, we're talking in the millions of dollars. That's in the tens of thousands of dollars. And so it sort of like skews it.
Yeah.
And what we had is a large insurance claim that was paid back to us, and that's where we put it. So it popped that up a little bit. But if you go over to the very, very far end that says total, that gives you the cleanest picture because that looks at all of our revenues and shows where we're at as a percentage of our budget. It's not going to be a full quarter again because we're going to have those property taxes coming in this month. That will pop that up. Next slide.
Well, there we go.
Our general fund expenditures, so by department. And the only two that I really wanted to take a look at, because if you think about it, we have a 25% of our year that's been expensed. And I'm mostly concerned about the departments that are a little bit over the 25%. So we've got, so in the council line, I guess we're a little over on our subscriptions. So we'll probably look at that when we're doing budget adjustments, just to make sure that we have enough to carry us through the year on that particular department. And then with Parks and Rec, we're over, but that's a good thing because our costs.
That's when you're doing your work.
Well, our costs went up primarily because we had extra events at Barker Park.
Mhm.
And so we have revenues that offset that. And then it will always also skew a little bit more than 25% because it's the summer events. Well, then it'll dip in the winter and come back up. So
Yeah.
that's the reasons why you see 25% or more in expenditures.
Do we pay anything for the hunt? Activity up there this month?
I know the Santas. I know we have costs incurred for the Christmas North Pole.
Yeah, and all those decorations,
Yeah.
We pay for Santa, but we don't pay for, I don't believe we pay for the hunt family.
That's all donated.
It's just, or staff hours, maybe.
Yeah.
I haven't seen any invoices or anything yet for that. It's all been lights and Santa.
That's sure a popular event. Why they fill them up every second.
Yeah, my kids have already been, so if you go to the far line on the right there for the total, we're at 19.7% of our budget for the year in general fund. And again, just sort of taking the temperature, I'd rather see us there than over 25% if you're looking at a quarter.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, start.
all right, next slide. This is our general fund revenues, just looking at a 3-year look. Intergovernmental, when you see that, that's kind of a clue for grants. So, grants come, grants go. We have some budget for it, but we haven't seen any really materialize yet. And sometimes we have the grant money, but we can't release it and accrue it as revenue until the project's been expensed. So that's going to kind of sit there until projects get completed. We already talked about miscellaneous and why it's so high. And
do we have some projects that are being worked right now then? Intergovernmental grant things?
mostly ramp based. So Ogden, it's not Ogden, Weber County has the ramp grant. When you pay your arts tax to the county, they then designate some of those funds to the cities for different types of projects.
Do we have some of those?
We do. So they're in the parks. We're looking at maybe using some for cherry days.
We're gonna put in some for cherry.
So we're actually looking at doing another one. This would be representative of monies we've already been awarded in terms of ramp. And when we actually expense the project, in fact, that's going to pop up a little bit because Casey and I are working on one today where it's a playground, right? Is that the one that you sent me the journal entry for?
Disc golf.
The disc golf,
Yeah.
sorry. So that's getting paid out by some ramp dollars. And so once that gets expensed, then that line's gonna pop up a little bit because that represents grants.
And then it'll have as well as the aquatic center. The
Yeah.
playground at the aquatic
Do
center.
we have much use on that disc thing? Do we? I've never seen anybody up there using it.
I've never used it, but I've heard and seen a lot of it's well used for, I mean, it doesn't really cost the city anything to do it, so it's.
Where will the money go when we get the WACOG money for the widening project? Will that go into
Not in the
grants and
gen,
transfers in, or
no, because it won't be general fund, I don't think.
streets or general fund?
Oh.
aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Yeah, you're right. It will go into streets. So it will show up here.
Anyway, we've got quite a bit of money coming in. We have two projects that WACOG approved. One is the additional money for the widening up to 3100, which you see houses starting to be burned down or whatever.
Yeah, I thought they had a big fire going there, and then I read that it was a trading thing.
Training. Then we've also got money, I think it's in 27, to put a roundabout down there at the intersection of Fruitland and 2100.
Yeah.
Try to straighten that
Yeah,
intersection out finally.
That'll be good.
it seems like there's enough room there.
There.
There's not.
There's not.
We'll have to-
No, they got-
we'll have to
There,
get
there'll
some
be
property.
public purchasing.
They have to chew some stuff away to make that work, don't
We'll have to
they?
get some property
Yeah.
to make it
That's
work.
That's a big funny intersection right now.
It's gotta be one of the worst in the state.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with it, but
I have fun driving it personally.
I know.
but-
Yeah.
Yeah, here we go. Am I gonna go in the ditch or not?
Super fun.
I don't want anybody watching me when I'm doing it.
It does get a little hairy when you have somebody else coming, right? Like I
Yeah.
like it when there's nobody else, but if somebody's coming up on 2100 and you're going down Fruitland, it's a little
The great
scary.
thing about it is there's not many accidents because people are so careful going through
Yeah,
there.
Yeah.
it's a funny, yeah.
Yeah, you never know what you're gonna, yeah.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add, John Call just, added that the Hunt family is all volunteer, so keep that in mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, WACOG's in there. If it's general fund, it'll show up there.
What is WACOG?
Association of Government,
Weaver
Weaver
Weber Association of Governments.
Oh, so it's a county thing that's helping us with our roads?
Yeah, they collect money as part of the sales tax situation. They allocate it out to different road projects.
So our road expenses are in general fund, you said?
Depends. If we're building a road or something that's gonna be capitalized, it'll be in the capital fund.
Okay.
So, yeah,
For repairing a road, it's in general?
Road repairs, or the street department.
yeah, it's mostly just, we're paying mostly for the people. It's mostly for the people that are,
The salaries of the people. that-
yeah, and their departmental
Well, they say the
costs.
asphalt prices are so high, though, that's gotta be some of that, where does that go?
Into our capital mostly, because it's so expensive. So we'll capitalize a street or a road. So then a couple other governmental, you'll see come in too, as we have a lot of police grants. Some of those are federal based.
So what's the difference between intergovernmental on your graph here, in your mind? What's the difference between intergovernmental and grants and transfers?
So that should be donations and transfers.
Okay.
So that's a
Just wanna
typo.
make Sure.
Yeah, I caught that today and I'm like, that should be called donations and transfers. Because a grant typically is an intergovernmental. It's usually coming from county, state, federal. There are some private grants. If they are, they will be in the donations line. But most of our grants are intergovernmental. There's an interlocal agreement of some kind. So. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. So this is our expenditures, just on a 3-year comparison. The ones I wanted to point out was finance and non-department. There's some differences between this year and last year. That's related to how we're going to be accounting for some of our EMS costs. So it's because Casey here is on the finance team and so those EMS costs have been sort of shifting over, but we're gonna work on setting up a brand new dedicated EMS department to help us isolate those EMS funds. So we'll see that hopefully in the next quarter, we'll have that structured so you can see that sort of pulled out.
EMS.
Sorry, emergency management. Public safety and comms, community services, and public works and inspections and community events all are a little bit low on their expenses compared to budget. I looked into that and it looks like our salary budgets are a little high in those departments. So we're gonna be working with HR to sort of true those up. There's some savings possibly there that we can put elsewhere. Because you got to remember, this is a variance report. And so it's comparing actuals to budget. And if we're low, we got to ensure that, is our budget adequately being represented when we do our mid-year budget adjustments? Was that the term I was supposed to use? Adjustment.
Yeah.
Was it adjustment or was it amendment?
Adjustment.
Okay. It's an opportunity for us to look at that and see if our budget lines are being adequately represented or if we need to increase them or lower them. Ideally, we just sort of look at savings in one area to bump up some budget expenditures in another. And the other thing I wanted to point out as we're kind of moving into the next year here is we've been tasked by the state, and it's not on here, but I just wanted to point out that we've been tasked by the state to, what's the right term? Not close, but to, we have 2 RDA funds, and one is being moved over to another. Consolidate, yeah. So, and that doesn't show up on here, but I just wanted to point that out in terms of our expenditures. Next slide. Are there any questions on the general budget? We're 3 months in, we have a little bit of a picture, but we're not going to really know a lot until we really get into the next couple of quarters.
I have a specific question.
Okay.
And the senior center budget. There's not a line on here for senior. You've got senior building and senior something else, but how do they get their money from us? In other words, we're getting some from Pleasant View. Now, that money used to go to them for operations. Now, how's that happening? Where are we putting the money we get from Pleasant View?
I know that I don't know a lot about the Pleasant View side of it, but I know that
It's just one thing they give us. I think you got them to go up it, didn't you? Yeah. So did it go up to $15,000? No, 10,000.
We've been trying to get some from the other cities.
Harrisville.
The second largest user of the senior center is Ogden City,
Yeah.
because all the people from north come out here.
Yeah.
But,
Well, it used to be $5,000 back when I was.
they still get 5,000. That
Chairman over
goes to the senior center board fund.
Now, does that go directly to them or does it come through us?
The 12,000?
Well, the 12, what's the 12,000?
5,000 goes directly from Pleasant View, I think gives the 5,000. That goes to the board fund. And then the 12,000.
Does it come through us and then to the board?
I think it goes directly, the 5,000 goes directly there. The 12,000 comes to us.
Yes.
That budget has been the same ever since they started doing it.
we have some shared costs and revenues, but I need to look into that and maybe give a better picture of it.
Because, yes, it seemed like we should budget something for them over there.
And it is. What happens is the health department, or Weber County's
Human services.
FEMA services,
They,
We have an
they
arrangement
supply
with
half
them.
of the, yeah, they supply half of the
They
personnel
give us
costs
like
there.
$59,000 a year to
Yeah.
cover part of the personnel
And we pay
costs.
the other half.
We have to pay the other, but. I
I'm
don't know
talking,
what
I'm
Peter's
talking about
put
their
down.
operations. I was asking them the other day how their operations are going and so forth, and they have no, they've had no increase from what's been given them since,
Yeah,
10,
the county
15
hasn't
years
given,
ago. Or-
yeah, the county hasn't given us any increase for years and said they probably never will.
Well, the increase comes, they pay half of her salary. Right?
Yeah, but it's all, no, it's just a set dollar amount.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's $59,000 a year they give us to cover benefits.
Now, where is that in here? Where's where?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know enough about that, how the
I
senior
had it,
center works.
I had it located at one point, but I didn't bring it with me. And I'm wondering whether they should have a line item in here.
Cause I didn't think we had any personnel costs over there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we do.
it's about 31,000.
We have to send
Well, it's
money
to
to
the
the
county.
county.
Yeah,
Oh, do you?
We send money to the county.
But yeah, we don't hire anybody
No,
that's over there.
that's
We,
not
they do the hiring. Yeah,
It's not our employee.
yeah.
And they give us a credit basically of 59,000 and we have to send them the difference, which is what, 32, I think it was.
Yeah, it's about
1,000.
31.
But that's just gonna keep.
Climbing,
keep
isn't it?
accelerating.
and then we have some revenue lines that cause we rent it out to
Yeah,
other
yeah, I've seen that line in
facilities.
there.
And I know about that one.
Do we not want to have a line item to finance them at all?
We haven't. I mean, it's not that we don't want
I think
to.
it's in, yeah. I mean, we redid the floor and stuff and our capital expenditures over there is what's,
There is a building line,
yeah, well, where we do repairs and.
yeah.
The building line makes sense. It's the operational side of it that
Yeah.
I need to get a clearer picture on as to
Well, it
what.
would take the council to budget them
Well,
some
Yep.
money, yeah.
The operational side is basically the money we give to the county to make up the difference. Cause it's a county program.
Good, yeah, but the county
So we
doesn't
just-
give them anything either, as far, the board to accomplish things with.
They've got quite, the last
Program.
time I saw, they've got about 75, 80,000 bucks sitting in their fund.
They got some backup money now, yeah.
Yeah, but
Um,
yeah, the only money we put in basically is to pay the difference between, what the county gives us. We don't have we pay the utilities and stuff like that, but
In the maintenance.
There's some maintenance that needs to be done.
I know the maintenance.
They
is
were
us.
pointing out that, and they don't know how to,
they got
Access.
$80,000 sitting there.
but it's the building is our
Yeah,
responsibility.
but we don't charge them rent or anything. That's the problem. That's what, long term is gonna be the battle. Is how much the city wants to put into that because, alls we're getting is X amount from the county and they want all these improvements and they haven't been budgeted we paid for a new roof and we paid for the floor.
Yeah.
But they're wanting all new stuff and things of that nature. And so it's just how much the citizens of North Ogden want to pay in property tax to fund it. We've committed to keep it open. I mean, there was a big discussion. They closed. We were gonna close 2 in the county and they closed 1. But we've committed to,
I think they're fairly active over there. I mean, they got,
Ogden City has a nice turnout over there.
I do know because I personally rented the facility for my family. I looked into the capacity and there's a lot of capacity for, renting the facility.
Yeah.
They don't use it a lot on the weekends and evenings. It's mostly a daytime
yeah.
program.
Except when they have their monthly,
Yeah,
yeah.
but there's opportunities there and, I've had a couple of conversations about trying to figure out ways to monetize that a little more.
So I guess what they should do, I think Blake is their, no, it's JD. I think JD is their, he needs to bring it back if they have something they need done to repair the building. Is that how?
No, it needs to go, well, JD, but also,
Needs to go to Dave then and Dave.
I'm trying to think, there is somebody that's over the building. Used to be Tyrell, I think.
This is Tyrell right
I don't know
now.
if it still is. No, I didn't want to volunteer, but we'll figure it out.
They had a little frustration going over there because they didn't know how to get things repaired.
Yeah.
I don't think
Bring it up
I don't
to
think they
JD.
were worried about asking for furniture or, stuff like that. I think it was actually building repair. Is it something?
Yeah, you've got two of those, so you've got the museum and the senior center who were asking for money that really has not been substantial in the past, but seems to be more substantial going forward.
Under the program with the county, can we charge people that are coming from outside the city?
Oh, it's right in their agreement, that anybody, because it's county money, right?
Well, we can, but then we have to turn it over to the county.
Yeah.
Any money we raise charging goes right back to the county.
But in there, it specifically says you
Yeah.
can't,
Yeah.
so any donations go, but you can't, it says any money that you charge, well, you can't charge, it says, for people coming in. They can make donations and stuff, but that money goes,
Under the
Okay.
county program.
Mhm. Like they do a lunch every Thursday, I think, and they ask for a donation because they can't charge, but all that money goes right back to the county.
Is it Peter? I don't think we've met. Is it Peter? Said that he rented it for his family. So I take it that's not under the county's.
No.
no, that's
program.
ours, because it's we own the building. Okay, but yeah, it's, they got us coming and going.
Yeah, they're talking about the programmatic outside of the.
Yeah, we don't give them
anything
any money
senior
for
related,
operations. I mean, all we do is pay the county the difference in the deal.
We've
So
had
if
the
they,
discussion.
but if they need repairs on the building,
We
I mean,
that.
do you want them contacting directly to one of our department heads
There's
like
supposed to
Dave or
be
somebody,
somebody
or do they go through to
JD.
JD?
JD,
JD brings it back to have done.
There's
yeah,
supposed to
we
be.
went over, they've got quite a list of things they'd like.
And some of those fall into this building category and some of them don't, yeah.
Yeah, but there is a budget for the building that's passed each year. And it doesn't include everything they'd like, but
Well, I remember when I was heading up the organization over there years ago that I wanted to spend some of that money that you're talking.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
it just keeps.
I had trouble
accumulating.
getting the board to go along with me, but
Yeah, it keeps
Yeah.
it
accumulating.
seemed like it's too big of a rainy day fund, You shouldn't be holding that much money aside.
It's a growing fund, no doubt about it, but yeah, we've tried to get Pleasant View. I mean, not Pleasant View, but Harrisville,
Phil and Ogden.
to cough up some funds, because I mean, Plain City people, they're coming, and
Yeah,
Pleasant View was kind enough to step up to the plate, but the others just.
so did they raise theirs to 10,000 or?
Who?
Pleasant View, I
It's
know
12.
12,000, okay, so
12,000.
you got that far, didn't you?
Well, yeah, we got it
Yeah.
somehow. But, yeah, we got 12,000, but
But
the
none of
other,
that
other
went-
cities
none
are
of
just
that-
kind of freeloading.
But see, none of that went to the board over there, did it, to use?
Well, it subsidizes the money we put in to the county. See, like, let's
Yeah.
just say, if it costs 100,000 in salary.
But
or
see, that
benefits
used to,
and
that
invoice,
5,000 used to go to them.
It does still.
The 5,000 still goes and then 7,000
The
comes
12,
here?
no, it's 12,000 and 5,000.
Oh, okay,
There's 17,000 total.
okay.
Yeah, so
I
the
get
5,000 goes directly
you. Okay,
to the board, and the 12,000 comes to us to use to supplement the
yeah,
amount we have to pay the county. For instance, just to put it clearly, if it's $100,000 in salary and operating costs over there,
yeah,
exclusive of building costs, but just
that's
the
50,000
county gives
each.
us, the county gives us 59,000, we have to give them 41.
Yeah,
And then,
So the 12,000 would offset the 41 we're giving them,
Yeah.
so we'd be out of pocket 29,000.
but then we still do the maintenance on the building, which
Yeah.
is another.
I think their complaint was that the maintenance on the building is not getting done. And they, I wondered is that JD that should be stepping up for them? And
Well, let me just put it this way, it's not getting done at the speed they want it to, but it's getting done at the speed we have the funds to do it.
Yeah.
They'd like everything, just basically, they'd like new carpet, they'd like new
Yeah,
refrigerators.
So I
they'd
think
like,
the item that I remember was something outside the building.
um,
It wasn't for their accoutrements.
I mean, I just used it on Sunday with my family, and it was, I mean, from a user standpoint, it was perfectly.
Well,
Great.
that new gal has improved over
Jill?
there. Yeah, Jill has done a lot of good over
The
there.
bathroom fans are a little loud. That might mean I think it might be some need there, but
That's not
I'll
what
bet
they
you
have.
20% of the people that use that are from North Ogden. They're as far as Perry, Brigham City. I bet you only 20% of the people using
That
that.
speaks well for our operation over there.
Yeah, but we're paying.
We're not paying any, we're just paying for the building.
well, then the county, these are aging programs, right? That they do out of there. There's federal dollars going into those
Yeah.
meals and stuff too.
Yeah,
So
they pay for the Meals on Wheels and stuff like that. But yeah, we're putting money into there. If it costs 100,000 of salaries and the county's only giving us,
Well, yeah, we know that. That's always been that way, right? Yeah.
but
So,
the county runs the programs over there. It's their
yeah,
programs.
Jill's their employee, yeah.
And the programs are their programs.
Well, my answer to them will be that
Talk to
JD needs to be there.
JD's brought it back. We actually went over there and John and myself, I can't remember if JD was with us and toured and looked at all the stuff over there and,
Yeah,
you know, we're trying to replace it as fast as we can.
yeah,
But
okay.
there's budget limitations.
Yeah.
All comes
So that's
out of-
why there's no line on him over here, because
it's
nothing's coming from the city to them.
and it's a detail nestled in one of probably our community.
Yeah. So there's a line item there's a line item for
Community events.
and building maintenance and,
I think it's in there.
yeah.
But if it makes sense to split it out, we can split it out. It helps to provide some transparency.
Yeah, so you'd see the $12,000 in revenue up above the line. And then the money we're paying, say it's 41,000,
Uh-huh.
that'd be an expense below, but I don't know which category he's got it in.
Do you know where it
Community
is?
events would be
I'm just
my-
trying to find it here, but
my best guess.
I found it at home, but I didn't bring it.
But you wouldn't see it in the it's just a summary statement there. You wouldn't see it in there because it's like an invoice
Or at
detail.
least there was a line item.
But the problem we have is when we raise property taxes, our citizens are paying that. The 20% of the people are, so the other 80% are living off of North Ogden taxpayers' money.
Yeah, that's not good. I mean, that's not fair.
It's a little hard to swallow
How
sometimes.
long is the agreement with the county? How long are we obligated?
I think it was 2 years this
I
last
couldn't
one.
remember if it's a year to year or 2 years. Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
long.
So would be up for renegotiation.
Yep.
Well, there is no negotiation with the county.
Yeah,
Well-
it's either we take their,
We either take what they offer.
Yeah,
or-
we don't want to take the responsibility for it all.
Well, that was an
No.
option
Yeah.
that they
That's not
presented
my
to us.
point. Yeah. My point is if they want to keep the program going in North Ogden, then they may need to renegotiate.
Well,
Because we're not obligated to let them use the building past the contractual date, correct?
correct, which means you close the senior center down.
Well, or we could use it for North Ogden purposes.
well, right.
Yeah, but for
But
the
no more
senior center
seniors.
programs, it wouldn't be a senior center program.
Mhm.
But what happened, Thane, on that is we did somewhat, I was pushing for 3 centers. Because what we found out here is there was 5. And, like Washington Terrace was getting $79,000 a year from the county, and we were getting like 40. I goes, well, wait a minute. Where'd you come up with that? And we had one of the highest attendance next to Ogden, and Ogden us were getting the least money from them. And so we said, hey, first of all, do you need 5? We had them down to 3, but the commissioners didn't have the courage to close 2. Because then we would have got the 245,000 the county's allocated. We would have got that divided by 3. But then they went with 4. So that's why now everybody's getting the same amount. But you're right, the negotiation is to keep the center open or not.
Well,
But we
And,
were
you know,
getting,
we
we were
grumble
getting
about
ripped
it,
off
but-
for years. I mean, Washington Terrace was getting $35,000 a year more than we were getting.
but as we grumble about it, think of all the youth programs we do, and
Yeah.
then this is something we do for the upper end of our city, you know, the older folks.
Oh,
So,
yeah, we've told them we're keeping it open.
Yeah.
We're supporters of the senior centers, just how much,
yeah.
And I wasn't suggesting otherwise, I was just looking for some leverage.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the leverage, and we told them, we said, well, we'll have to see if we can, go with your proposal. So they cut 1 out, and increases from 44,000 to 59,000. But if they would have gone with 3, we would have got a lot more money. But yeah, the citizens of North Ogden are paying the whole bill basically over there for probably 20% of the people from North Ogden.
Yeah. Who did you meet with? That meeting, was that a county meeting with the
Oh, yeah, all the
commissioners?
mayors were there and the, Kevin, he's the executive director down there.
So Ryan, that'll be your, you'll have to pick that up and go fight for the city in those meetings. Yeah.
I know about it from the county side because I saw the grant programs. I know what they pay for.
Yeah. But the county's told us they're not allocating any more of their budget to senior.
No.
And the feds have kept the amount that they.
Do the same.
That's because their money's all federal money. It's just a pass through.
Uh-huh.
They don't, it's not a revenue center for them. It's just a program that they provide that they
They've been mandated to provide.
and then they submit reports and get reimbursed from the federal government, state governments to. Comes from the state from the federal to the state to the county.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, if the council wants to have a separate line item, they can do that. It just really bothers me that we're paying the whole bill and people from Brigham and Perry and Far West won't cough up the dime.
Well, I'm gonna re-ask my question, do you mind?
No, go ahead.
I can see that if there's since this is a Weaver County program, if somebody's coming from Ogden or, someplace in Weaver County, that we can't charge them differently. But what if they're coming from outside the county? We still can?
Well,
I
as
don't think
Ryan
so.
says, let's see, we can get the agreement amended. Any money we collect from anybody goes to the county. So even if we collect it, but that's a good point that we ought to talk to them about now that we know the breakdown of people that are over there.
You said Willard Perry people come too, right?
Oh, Brigham, I've
Yeah.
met some people from Brigham City.
Nobody knows more how fun it is to deal with Weaver County than America First, but but I think if this has been static for that many years, there ought to be a cost of living adjustment to it that you know what I mean? And it seems like we could get that without negatively impacting the county or the city if we were allowed to
Out of county
get
charging.
some revenues out of county.
The other option, I think it might be to look at the federal program and see if we qualify to get the money directly to us to help to close the gap.
Yeah.
So that's another option to look at too.
When's it come up to we negotiate? Is it another year before we?
It's at least another year.
Yeah, I think it's got one more year.
Yeah. So, yeah, because we didn't do it this year, so it'd be at least another year.
Good.
And they're on a calendar
So-
budget.
So Pleasant View did this out of the goodness of their hearts?
Yeah, they just
Yeah.
went over and said, hey, look, we think 20% of your people over there, because, the electricity and all the other stuff, like 60 something grand a year. And we said, our records indicate 20% of the people over there are from Pleasant View.
Yeah.
And and they said, okay.
Nice.
Well, years ago, I brought,
Harrisville won't,
They can't afford it.
a few years ago, I brought Gordon Robeson onto the board and now he's the,
chair.
yeah, so he and I are
Good
friends. And I've been talking to him and he's just trying to make things better and, trying to
Yeah.
improve things, so,
And we want to have a senior center, but we like it to be more equitable.
yeah. Well, that's a fight beyond our city then, yeah.
But we did get them to cut one out and start allocating the money equally.
Yeah,
Instead of
that's
ripping
good.
us off like the county been ripping us off for, how many years?
Yeah, that's good. You done good,
So,
Bishop.
well, I don't know if we did good or not, but we
You
made
did
some,
better.
we made some progress.
Yeah, you did better.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, that's okay. Good discussion. Back up to our sales tax. I think we're one more slide ahead. Can you go back?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I think we just
Sorry.
skipped one. There we go.
There.
Ryan wants to get moving.
Straight at
She's
me.
trying.
This is really,
You caught me, Peter.
it's okay. This is just to go over where we're at with our sales tax figures. We were looking pretty good as of August, but then our September allocation came in and it's always 2 months in arrears. It came in and it looked like our September numbers are a little low. So that's you know, again, these are trends. You just sort of kind of watch and see. We don't really know, and it might get better. And that could be representative of the fact that we had some furloughs and government closures and people just not spending money. And it might pick up here, you know.
This is a big season for us. They gotta be
Yeah.
out spending it
Well,
now or we won't get it.
October's the one we think will
Yeah.
hit us.
October's gonna be
With the
bad.
closures
Harder.
and stuff, because that's when things were so uncertain.
Yeah.
People were getting laid off, because as Peter said, we're 2 months behind. The other thing that is hurting us here is the legislature, turned over the allocation, because it's
Utah?
based on population. They turned it over to the Ken C. Gardner Institute to estimate population. And they, in their goodness, took the census, which it used to be based upon, and they said, oh, the census in 2020 was wrong. So we're gonna reduce the starting point by like 10%. So for instance, if it showed we had 21,500 people in the census, they reduced it down to say 20,000, just out of the goodness of their heart. And then we have had 500 building permits since then. And they're showing our population has only gone up 400 people since the census. And that's what the state uses to allocate sales tax and B&C road funds. We believe their miscalculations have cost us $150,000 in lost sales tax. But the legislature put no provision to challenge, to appeal in there. So
Well, they
Pulver
took
and
it
my,
out. Yeah. they took the
Pulver
appeal
and
out.
myself have been on the phone with the Ken C. Gardner, and actually now John Johnson, our senator, is gonna bring it to the Oversight Committee. Because there's no review of what they're doing. And West Haven also had a decrease in population, like we did.
What?
West Haven.
Yeah, you know, that's
One of
not
the
right.
fastest growing cities in the state.
And what they did is two things. There was a development called Riverwalk in West Haven. They gave that to Riverdale. And then, as you know, the multi-family housing, they gave that as one residence. They counted that as one residence instead of like if there's 50 in there, but there's no review and there's no appeal process.
But they might change that, you say?
Well, we've talked with
We're
John
hoping.
Johnson, and he says
He's not happy.
in fact, the bill sponsor was shocked when John challenged her and said there's no appeal process in there. She said, yes, there is. And he had to prove to her that there's not an appeal process. But not one of our legislators knew what was going on with that bill. Not one of them. And we figure it's costing us, just in sales tax, $150,000 a year, let alone B&C road funds.
So, I don't know, a year or a year and a half ago, Mayor, you explained to me that calculation that the state does to allocate those funds. And I wish that it were as sharp today as it was back then. So help me remember these new businesses that we have going in shortly down here, excluding the one in the corner because of the sales tax issue, but that Ryan Forsyth's development there, as he develops that out, do we get immediate benefit from that, or does that get absorbed into that calculation?
We get the city's portion, which I believe is 1%. We'll get that, and then the rest goes into the state pool
Calculation.
to be allocated.
Yeah, in fact, I show that on there, and on the next slide, it kind of splits it out a little bit.
But this graph on the far right, that's 3.5% under last year.
Yes, correct.
Actual. We're 3.5% below last year. But we think the uncertainty in the economy and then that reallocation of population.
There's the answer.
But it was interesting when we challenged them, because they're using the Census Bureau numbers to get an allocation of better representation, right? They didn't touch that, but when they allocate money out from sales tax, they reduced it just because they believe that the Census Bureau was wrong.
Do you think John Johnson's gonna get any traction with it?
I think so. There's, Mike Schultz is now aware of it, and he's gonna bring it to the Oversight Committee, John said. And he's pretty good at following through.
I'm at fundraisers for both him and Stuart Adams occasionally, not John, but Mike.
Yeah.
And if you want me to mention it, let me know.
Well, I had a conversation personally with Stuart.
Okay,
He's the one that actually had Natalie Gopner call me.
okay.
But they have all the resources, right? To prove their data,
Well,
but we don't have the resources to fight them.
But yes, anything you could say would be good.
Yeah, Stuart's aware of it,
Okay, I
and
just,
Mike is too.
and not that I have any
No,
particular influence, but if he's hearing it from more than, you know, other
remind them,
sources.
that'd be good.
It would,
Remind them,
yeah.
yeah.
So if I was West Haven, I'd be really upset.
Yeah,
Oh, they're not happy.
Yeah.
so do we know what the municipalities were that got the games?
Oh, yeah, Utah County.
Yeah.
Sarasota,
Sarasota
she was the one that sponsored the bill.
Of course.
And you can see that with the kind of growth they've had, but for them just to, and we actually went out and got the number of meters we have connected. See, they show we have 175 vacant units in our city, which is totally incorrect. But we showed them, look, here's how many meters we have. And we don't put a meter on the house and bill them unless
Somebody there to pay for it, yeah.
it's occupied.
Yeah.
And now they're telling us that the average size of a home occupancy used to be 3.24 people per home. Now they're saying it's 2.97
In North Ogden?
in North Ogden.
Yeah.
And, you know, they use the school records to show, because it's declining other than Green Acres. But they don't take into consideration charter schools or schooling at home.
That's declining everywhere though.
Homeschooling is in North Ogden, it's
Yeah,
like
it's going
going
way up.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like the public school records.
Yeah,
I just read Salt Lake County's way down too.
but I mean, the state's paying homeschool parents money to keep their kids home.
Yeah.
And so more and more are doing it, yeah.
But, yeah, so anyway, we think that's a contributor to our
Yeah.
decrease in sales tax, but yeah, the Utah County, of course, they're growing quite quickly, and you can see they'd want
Sure.
some adjustment to that, but not at the expense of other cities.
Yeah, because West Haven's like, I think, right behind Eagle Mountain right now is fastest
Oh,
growing.
Yeah,
It's right there.
and they showed a population decrease since the census.
That's crazy.
So I guess it could be worse for us.
Yeah, they could just not give us anything.
Okay, let's go to our next slide, because this just sort of back to the topic of pieces of it here. It's kind of hard to see that top graph there, but you have the state generated sales tax. That's what he was talking about, where it goes to state and then comes back. And then we have our piece of it, which is the city generated. This just kind of breaks that out so you can kind of see the difference in terms of amounts. To see the state trends are down as well. It's not just people aren't buying in North Ogden, it's all over the state. So, and then this final two here on the bottom, it shows the piece of it's a city to state ratio. So you can kind of, it's a visual representation of that, how that breaks out. So that you can kind of see that month by month, and then the aggregated one over there is the overall 3 months. So that's our sales tax. We try to watch that pretty closely. The next drop's going to be next week, and so we'll see how our October figures turn out. And the minute I know, I let our council know and our mayor, and so that they can be informed.
This is by far our largest source of revenue.
And the most volatile source as well. So we gotta keep our eyeballs on it. Okay, next slide. So that's pretty much it for our quarterly review. Just to sort of give you an update, we are in the, like I'm saying, we're swimming in the deep end of our 25 financial audit right now, working with the external auditors. And there's been a few adjustments so far since the last time we talked. Just to kind of bring you up to speed, we had some capital dollars for roads that were, we had it put in the capital fund, and the auditor says, we know we need you to move it to the general fund first, and then move it through to the capital fund. And they found some additional revenue that we hadn't captured. And so, I mean, it's a good thing, but we're still kind of working through our audit, and by February, we anticipate having that sit down with our auditors and having them come in and present the fiscal year 25. for you.
We'll hear
Peter,
from
the
them
audit's
next meeting.
due on December 31st. Are we gonna hit the deadline? It has to be submitted to the
The
state by,
financial audit?
our audit has to be submitted to the state by the 31st of December. And if it's not, they'll send you one letter and then they cut off all your sales tax. It's due to the state, be submitted by December 31st,
Okay,
which is only 13 days from now.
okay.
So if they haven't given us a draft of the report, I'm a little bit nervous.
Yeah, they haven't yet. So they just started working on it 2 weeks ago.
They probably know that though.
They know that. Yeah, they're working on
Now
it.
you know that.
And now I know that. There were, okay, that's good to know.
How's
So-
our, there was a lot of talk about roads. How is our road expenditures? Road repair.
Not enough.
We're. Have we spent 25% of our budget on, in that category?
I noticed there's,
No, because we do most of our road repairs in the spring. That's when we go to bid in the spring for road repairs.
So even though the weather was probably good through December, through September, but we didn't spend, we should have been going hard
Well,
at that time.
Because, well,
we did some.
Casey can, we did some, but Casey can probably explain. Most
Yeah.
road repairs is early summer or spring, summer, because that's when the contractors go out to bid
Yeah,
for
so
all summer long.
usually Public Works puts the road projects out in early spring, January, February, so that we can get on the contractor schedules. It's hard to get on the contractor schedules at the end of the summer because they're already so busy, so.
Don't we do a lot of our own work though?
No,
We don't.
no.
We don't have the.
But we don't have the individuals. We just contract
When
it
we
out.
do that, resurfacing, where we speckle it up or whatever, what do you call that?
The chip seal?
Chip
Yeah,
seal?
okay, chip seal,
Yeah, so that's all contracted
Is
out.
it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been up, like 3550 was all done, 3300 was all done.
Yeah.
What's the street going up off of 3100 that was tore up for so long?
600.
Yeah, it's all been
Boy,
repaid.
2600 needs some help out
It
here.
does.
Yeah.
Got potholes all the way up.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. The problem we've got in North Ogden, right, is we've got all this water underneath the ground and it freezes, pops up the asphalt. We had 2600. I thought Dave said they were gonna do some work on that this year, but I didn't see any. work.
They may be waiting until the spring, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But at this point, they probably are.
Yeah,
Right.
well,
Yeah,
all the
asphalt
asphalt plants are closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one thing after another, but I noticed that we still have a same balance in the transportation utility fee. Doesn't look like any money was spent out of there, but the council right
That's
after
where
the
it comes
first.
from,
Well, there's
One
part
of
of
the
it,
pieces of it.
part of it.
but right after the first of the year, the council will be deciding how much they want to assess in the transportation utility fee.
Awfully kind of you would do it to the first of the year.
Me, I voted no property tax increase, no increase in, I just want to go on record.
High stakes for you.
Yeah.
Well, that's gonna be a project for next year then to start in again at it then.
Yep.
I didn't know it was all contracted out. I thought Dave took care of some of that.
They fill a couple potholes every once in a while.
Yeah.
But most of it's contract.
Minimal pothole filling on an emergency basis. But most of the major, all the major work is contracted out, just not capabilities there.
Any other questions for Peter?
The only other couple things I had on that I wanted to talk about was just to let everybody know that we're gonna be doing our mid-year budget adjustments here next month. So we'll have a public hearing, watch for that. We'll make some adjustments to, again, based upon these figures, help us sort of fine tune our budget a little bit.
That be held at a regular council meeting then?
Yeah, correct. And then the final thing is that just have a discussion about filling needs here in the committee to see if we've got folks that, that we think want to be on the committee, or if there's,
That's the next item on the agenda too.
it is. And I think you're talking about that, aren't you?
Yeah, when you're done here.
Okay, all right. I'll let that be your item then.
All right. Okay, moving on, discussion and or appointment of audit committee. We need to appoint a chair in the council liaison and one additional committee member. And Ryan and I have spoken a little bit.
Mhm.
Do you want to lead with who anything? I know. Okay,
Bill?
I don't have any name. Well, we do have a couple names.
Yes, yeah.
Mayor Berube is no longer the mayor as of January, so he's leaving the committee.
That
as
would
the
be a
mayor.
great suggestion
Okay.
there.
Any suggestion on leaving being the mayor?
No, on being on
I-
this committee to keep that knowledge right here.
And then, I'm the chair, but as the mayor, we're gonna appoint a new chair. So we need, and we
One of
also
the
need a council
council?
liaison, yes. The thought we had, I don't know if he's listening, he's not listening.
Mm-mm.
Maybe Councilmember Pulver could be the council liaison. He's heavy into finance. And then I'd almost recommend him be the chair. But that's my recommendation. If you guys have any other thoughts, or if you know any other community members that you'd like on here, we can make an invitation.
Well, I worked with Pulver when we were doing the budget, that first year of budget. Yeah, he was done it like a
Yep.
cat on a.
I would
Piece of
suggest
fish.
that in addition to Councilmember Pulver, we select another council member just so
I
we
think so,
can.
because Councilmember Severing was on here now. He's probably not leaving the council.
So do you want another city
Sure,
council
probably.
person or another,
Yeah.
or just an outsider?
Another council member would be good.
Yeah.
Mayor Berube just mentioned Tara would be good. She's a small business owner here in North Ogden. Well, she owns a business in Ogden, but lives here. And she'll be coming on the council in January. This would really help her understand our budget real fast.
Yeah, good experience.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, it's really good.
So you make an official proposal that we could second?
Do you want me to make the
Sure.
motion? Okay. I motion that I motion to approve Councilmember Chris Pulver as the audit committee chair and Councilmember Carney as the audit committee liaison. And as the additional audit committee member, Neil Berube. Do I have a second?
I would second that in a minute. There you go. I like that.
Okay.
Only if you guys are staying on.
So I think we have to, so we'll bring these to the council to ratify these motions in January 13th, probably, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need a second though. We need a
We'll vote,
vote.
yeah,
Yeah.
I just let you know, so we'll vote on it as, that'll be our recommendation, and then the council will make the final.
Stan?
We could talk.
Okay, all right.
Can we vote as a group or do
We
we
can,
do
yep, so
individual?
all in favor of the motion? Say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, any opposed? This is your chance to oppose.
No, I said I'd help behind the
Okay.
scenes.
All right, perfect. Okay. Moving on to public comments. It's still no public, so we'll close public comments. Committee members, staff comments. Does anybody have something they'd like to bring up, address? No. Staff, Peter?
I like the slate that you guys have proposed, so.
Okay,
I talked to these two before everybody got here today and it was nice to know that they are kind of counterbalance each other as far as control, security control and who's doing what. And there's backups and I think we're fulfilling our obligation to the state that way.
Casey, do you have anything? Ryan?
No, sir.
And I think John's left us, I guess.
Yes, he
Okay.
has.
Then I'll be looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.